Have you discovered like some new muscles, or is it just like being 17?
Oh yeah. I've had headaches like I've never had before in my life.
You're more like 6 17-year-olds together rather than one particular 17-year-old.
All in like in one big jacket.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Andrew Trendle. You're watching Enemies in Conversation. We're here at the Black Heart in Camden with two of the darkest hearts you could ever hope to meet. It's Empire State Bastard.
Hello.
Hi, Andrew.
Simon, Mike, how are you?
Great, man.
Very good.
Nice to see you, Andrew. You all right?
Yeah, just about. I've only just recovered from seeing these lads at Underworld last night, and
You feel as shook by it as we do.
Yeah.
my bones is dust. I feel nothing from the hours down. But I'm sure you feel the same.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. There's a sense. I mean, we've been playing music for over 2 decades, and to play our first show as a new band is so fucking weird, you know. I don't think we've felt so unsure of ourselves for a while.
Yeah, we're in a heavy metal afterglow right now, trying to work out what just happened. Like, just picking through the rubbish, trying to work out what actually happened, because it was, I don't know. When you're in it, it's just hard to fathom. But like, it definitely felt like it went well.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Simon says, we've been, you know, this has been an imaginary band for over a decade now. So we've been talking about it since long before we had any songs. So to actually do it.
Yeah, it took a while to get the music to live up to our
I know,
expectations.
that's exactly true.
It's taken about 10 years to reach the point where we're finally ready to introduce this. And it just felt great. You know, playing a show where no one knows the songs as well. We're very aware of how bizarre that is. And we're very lucky to play to like 3 sold out venues. The crowd and everything were so receptive, and it was interesting to be at a gig where no one has any expectations, no one's waiting for one particular song, and it just felt like people kind of gave us their trust last night, and they let us take them on this hideously horrific musical journey.
It was horrible.
Extreme is the word.
Yeah.
We were going for extremity at all costs, even when it's not like brutality, it's got to be extremely kind of weird. And again, because we played together in Biffy so much, it's like there's no point in us doing another project that doesn't feel miles apart.
Yeah.
It's a pet hate of mine when people leave maybe their full-time band or something and go and do another project or record or band, and it's just a slightly different version of what they're doing anyway. It's like, what's the fucking...
Or do you remember when John Bon Jovi did Blaze of Glory?
Yeah, it's a so...
It just sounded like a Bon Jovi
It
song.
could have sounded like Napalm
I
Death.
know, but he's really sold himself short there. You know.
I'm going, oh,
Blaze of Glory.
You lazy man.
Yeah, John Bon Jovi. If he didn't have as much money, he'd be looking for some extreme metal
Of
answers.
course it would. It's just a matter of time. We're setting a trend now. Everybody's going to come out with a mad metal album after we've done. It's great.
Oh, Matt Cardle.
Yeah, I doubt he'll be covering any of these. No, I don't think we can barely play
I'm going to
these
say
songs.
we can't even play them, never mind any bugger else.
It's funny, the way Mike writes the music as well, it's so complex. It's like getting to know the music is a real different headspace than any way we've worked before. There's always been an element of kind of, well, I guess when I'm kind of writing songs, they're a bit more logical, Mike. There's maybe like an end point and you know, like wanting to reach a certain emotion or feeling, whereas it's just about scraping through dirt. I feel like every song is like just grabbing through the fucking soil with your fingers, you know. And only 3 shows in, we're finding how to represent that, you know. Finally, last night felt really good. Last night felt like the one show out of 3 that completely clicked, you know. As I say, playing for the first time live is weird, and then second gig with our typical fucking van on the road. 2 our vans broke down. We had 3 vans for 3 shows. So there was no glamour, there was no luck, but the music and the gigs just made it so worthwhile, didn't it?
It was all on an absolute knife's edge. These are the first gigs I've done without a drop of booze in me since ever, actually. Because like, you've just got to have your wits about you. If you step off the rails for a split second, the whole thing falls apart. So it's not like, oh, let's grab a beer and go jam it out, lads. You know, it's like you've got to be fucking on your game. You know.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. I mean, do you find yourself? Have you discovered like some new muscles, or is it just like being 17?
Oh yeah. I've had headaches like I've never had before in my life.
You're more like 6 17-year-olds together rather than one particular 17-year-old.
All in like in one big jacket.
Exactly. Yeah. It's we couldn't have made this music or this this album or this band even 10 years ago, even when we first started talking about it, we've you know, our experiences in the meantime and everything have kind of given us the knowledge and kind of expertise to do it, because it's got this heart and soul of a younger project in terms of we're just diving headfirst into it and not asking many questions. But musically, this would not have been, I certainly wouldn't have been able to do it vocally a few years ago. And, you know, I need to learn how to kind of scream with a bit of stamina for a change. You know, it's really hard though, because when you're in the moment, that's the only thing that matters. And that's why this band means so much to us already, because it's every second just feels so fucking important. You know, we don't have this huge run of like gigs or years that we have kind of it's like everything's just about this exact moment, so it's got this kind of liberation to it. You know, there's no grand plan, and that's what I think we're finding most exciting.
Yeah, well, when Simon first ever told me that this band was happening, because he'd mentioned in an interview, whereas previously it had just been like a drunken chat at the back of the bus, you know.
Sometimes you got to say things out loud to make them happen.
Exactly. I've told everyone we're doing.
I've said most of these things to Andrew first, and Andrew looks at me going, really? And then
I'm like, August 2020.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm talking like 2011
to deliver on that.
I know. And he goes, I says, well, what does it sound like? Then he goes, heavy and vital. And I think it's finally, it's taken us this long to have this in the back of our minds to work out what that actually means. It's as much as anything to sort of dress Simon's voice, because, you know, he screams like nobody I've ever heard. You know, it's just a really visceral and pained, agonizing shriek. And I just wanted to make that sort of work with the right framing, you know.
Well, it's definitely that. It's everything you just said. I mean, at no point does it go mathy or like...
Yeah.
But do you, like, in terms of discovering those muscles and not wanting to tread that old path, did you find that you kind of channeled something different lyrically to kind of match the hopelessness of what Mike was presenting?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, I've kind of put all my kind of nihilism, misanthropy, and everything into this record. You know, it's the anger needs to be real. You know, and when the pandemic happened, that was what finally gave us some time to kind of work on it and actually spend some time with it. And there was so much to be angry about at that period, but even since then, just the way the world's going, you know, as we've had so many conversations on it, and I keep having this optimistic point of view that there's going to be a right sharp turn of goodness and growth, and everyone's going to kind of see the light. And things we're still in this torpor kind of thing. I don't know if that's probably the right word for it, but I needed to unleash, you know, the things that we see in the news every fucking day, you know, and I don't want to turn, this isn't like a political band or anything, but there's so much to be fucking angry about. Yeah. But you see people that run the country just don't give a shit. You see people, you know, in local neighborhoods are falling apart, you know, and maybe I've kind of connected maybe to my hometown and everything more since I've stopped touring intensely after the pandemic. So I think I feel like a sense of responsibility to my community and everything. And when Mike sent the music, it was really, you know, we discussed a lot of frustration at everything, the way the country was going, the decisions and votes that have been taken in this country that are kind of taking us down this really horrific path that unfortunately there doesn't seem to be any way out of. And Mike puts it quite eloquently, and maybe you should say it, but the thought of making any kind of emotional music with that kind of mindset would actually break us inside. It's almost like we've needed to give ourselves this piss and vial and piss and vinegar or whatever, and to actually let us deal with it and to discuss these things in ways that don't make us fall apart. You know, it's kind of trying to give ourselves strength through the music rather than vulnerability, because I guess we get to do that with other things we do.
No, you was just like drop D, let's get down.
Drop B flat, motherfucker.
Let's drop B flat. So. Oh, sorry. No, C standard mainly, but it's like
sorry.
It's primarily like the idea that in this day and age, you don't really have to look very far to look for inspiration. You know, if you're looking to vent your frustration and vent your anger, then we're blessed that we've got the ability and gift, if you will, to do that. But you don't have to look far for inspiration. It's just fucking mortifying what the UK citizens are put through at the moment. And like Simon says, it's just like some sort of collective fucking weird dream state that everybody's just pretending that it's fine, and it's really, really not. And the frustration, you know, some days you can just sort of blow it off and go, I don't fucking care. But primarily, listening to music like this and creating music like this is the only thing that keeps me and him sane, really. Yeah. Because, like he says, I really like what I call sort of comfort music, which maybe has a slightly more emotional sort of parameters of harmony and all that. I love all like that. But with things how they fucking are at the moment, I can't go near anything like that. I just have to listen to, I've got 2 settings. It's either going to be Sun or it's going to be fucking Slayer. It's like not just either 2 gears. That's all I want, you know.
Yeah. Well, like fantasy horror is one of the things I wrote. I've heard 5 songs of the album. I wrote down fantasy horror and art sludge.
Yeah,
I'll
love
take
it.
that, yeah.
So everyone's heard Harvest. Go check it out if you haven't. What else have we got here? Palms of Hands. I put Speedball Desert Rock. Yeah.
Nice.
Sons and Daughters. Doom Sludge Epic. Stutter. Kick Drum Warfare. The Looming. Nightmare Prog.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
like that, I was just wondering, like, what conversations did you guys have to kind of land on this very definitive Empire State Bastard sound?
I think most of it is trust. You know, part of the, you know, Mike would send me something that I wanted to kind of make Mike smile and laugh and do the unexpected and vice versa. And because the music wasn't created, you know, with 4 of us in a room or anything, you know, it was very much just us mirroring each other and trying to challenge each other. That is what I think took it, you know, in the most heaviest moments of the album, I really wanted to put the most kind of 80s type synth to it just makes, it changes the perspective of all the music when you do something unlikely. And it's the same with Sons and Daughters, you know, that's just one fucking chord for like 4.5 minutes, but it has this kind of pulse and build, and it's the exact opposite of how I would write music. You know, the dynamic of my voice doesn't change, and it was just, it was really nice. What a great fucking word, isn't it? It doesn't appear in the lyrics.
It's a really nice record.
Really nice.
Great time.
Yeah, great time. Yeah, great time it is not. But yeah, that kind of challenging each other, you know, because we've been so close for so long. But the fact that this is our first kind of proper interaction creatively, I think we felt the need to challenge each other and push each other and take this somewhere that it wasn't meant to go. Because original Conversations, we were going a bit more Dillinger, and then it ended up a bit more Phantomas at points, a bit quirkier, a bit more like Cardiacs. And these things just didn't settle until this batch of songs came along. Yeah.
And it's just that exciting thing of like trying to get your mate really excited and sort of emailing it, pressing send, texting saying you've got a fucking email, and then just waiting for the 3 dots to start appearing where he's going to start freaking out. Because it's just about blowing each other's minds and getting excited. Because you know that if we don't like it, then nobody else is going to like it, you know. And it's just fun. It's really, really fun to make it. But that don't mean to say it's just like some T-shirt that we're wearing this week. It's something that we really like music like this, you know. Yeah. I think that's the concern for me, is people are just going to think that we're just having a laugh with it. Yeah. But fucking,
I think there's no doubt if you see us as heroes, it's like this is a part of who we are, our genetic makeup musically. And you know, metal was my first great love. You know, I felt like I found my group of people that kind of liked the same things as me and no one else did. And I know it was the same for you.
It's my absolute centre of gravity, you know, when in doubt, put Black Sabbath on, put Slayer on, put Iron Maiden on.
Sort the heads from the haircuts.
Sort the heads from the fucking haircuts.
Speaking of T-shirts, I mean, that name's going to look banging on a T-shirt. But like, when did you, I mean, the name's perfect. I mean, did you have any other kind of combos like the Eiffel Dickhead? I also had the Great Wall of Twats.
I always wanted to call a band Toys, Choke, Toys, but after that became a Biffy song. I just always thought that'd be a killer name for like a mathy hardcore band. But no, Empire State. But it was probably about 12 years ago. I was talking about the Empire State Building or something, and it just came out wrong. And I was like, that's the greatest name in the history of the world. Yeah. So it just made perfect sense. And again, it's all arse backwards the way we did this. So that we needed to make music that fit the name, you know, and we weren't in a rush to do it. So that's how we know that this is the right time to make this record, and these songs are right, because no one was expecting this. We didn't have to do this. We could have rushed it out 8 years ago, spent a month and done just made some, you know, some noisy shit. But again, if you're going to do something, do it fucking properly. Put your head in it properly.
Well, that's it. Speaking of doing things right, I mean, fucking hell, Dave Lombardo.
Mm-hmm. I mean, here's my drum roll, Dave. That's as fast as I can go.
I mean, did you shit yourself? Did you?
Still am. I'm not got over it yet.
It's like, how do you approach that? Is it like asking Gordon Ramsay to make you a toast?
Yeah. It's like saying, I'm going to make dinner tonight. I might as well just check with fucking Marco Pierre White whether he's had any Coke today and he's hungry or not. But it was exactly that. We discussed how could we do this if we were going to do it. Mike was like, right, we need someone that can play like Dave Lombardo. And we spoke for about 2 weeks, and we're lucky to know a lot of incredible musicians. And then just one day, it was during the pandemic, we were like, should we just fucking get Dave Lombardo's email and email him? And we shared a couple of friends. So we emailed him, and within 24 hours, he got back, and he was like, this is fucking great. You know, what are you thinking? And, you know, we'd never even met. And so we ended up with this kind of on the phone relationship, I guess, for a year or so. And he really understood what we were trying to do with this album, with this band. He really got it, and he gets asked to play in a lot of projects. He's so busy anyway, but he gets approached for a lot of things. And as soon as he came back and said, this is special, I'm going to do it. I'll make sure that I play with you guys and make this record. Then that was when we kind of went, right, this is fucking happening. And then we were able to kind of like shift into gear, because if Dave Lombardo says it's a good fucking bunch of songs you've got, then you know you're onto something. Yeah. But every time I turned around on stage and see him, I just have I have a split second where I just need to go, no, we're fucking playing music together, you know, like, because I want to just go like, fucking hell, Dave, that's fast, you know. And you saw from the reception of the crowd, I mean, Dave means a lot to people. There's very few artists and musicians that for so many, like for a good few decades, has pushed himself to the utmost limit. He's gone home, he's going straight into play a show with John Zorn as part of Painkiller, this free-form jazz improv thing. And it's like, that's the kind of person we want in our world, you know, like someone who, even after us doing it for 2 decades, makes us want to do it for another 2 decades. But we're still not quite used to it.
No, not at all. And, you know, it's one thing being on stage with him. That's quite hard enough itself. You want to try going to Greggs with him. That's just
what's his order?
Fucking surreal.
Like,
what is this stuff?
It's a sausage roll.
Just all beige.
It's funny. You had them in every fucking supermarket in Morden where we were rehearsing. And, you know, like Lidl, Aldi, Morrison's, you were looking for fucking Brill cream.
I know.
You're taking down the middle aisle of Lidl.
I was like, wow, this place has everything, man.
Meat, trampolines,
You can buy a fucking bridal gown and some haggis, you know. Welcome to Britain.
Came out with an organ grinder.
He did wonder why there wasn't much fresh fruit and vegetables. We had to explain them. Those days are gone, Dave.
Yeah, sorry.
You got a trampoline though.
Exactly. Yeah, fucking trampoline.
And I mean, Naomi Macleoud off of Falcon.
Yeah.
She was awesome last night. I mean,
she's the glue in this organisation. She's absolutely marvellous.
Very stoic. You know, Mike's known Naomi for a while, and Mike said that he had the perfect person in mind to play these songs. And Naomi, as soon as we first played together, it was like, this is stunning. And she's such a nice presence for us. We can be a bit flappy.
I'm a flapper.
She's this kind of stoicism that just brought us all kind of down when we were getting really adrenalized and a bit nervous and worried about the shows. She just kind of centered us all. And then it turned out after the show, she was shitting it the whole time.
She's like, you know, just carries herself so well, and she's such a badass player, man. Like, just so heavy, so loud, so brutal.
But soul as well. See to bring soul into this music, which is why I think this music's special. And maybe if you don't listen to extreme music, you might struggle to find the soul in music. But I think this record and the music we play, it's jam-packed full of soul. You know, and that's partly down to.
Yeah, we're lucky.
Yeah, we're very lucky.
Nice one. And from here, I'm getting. You just said it's a full-time baby? All babies are full-time.
Part-time baby.
Rent-a baby.
It's another baby. Christ. So I'm guessing full tour coming, another album in the back of your head.
Got managers over there, you ask him, man.
This is not like a one-statement band. You know, we definitely feel that we've just started to express ourselves, and we're doing a bunch of festivals. We'll hopefully do some more, you know, longer run of shows later in the year. But you're going to be seeing a lot more from us, and this is going to be a living, breathing organism that will exist for a while. You know, the last thing we want to do is fucking squeeze it too hard, because it takes a lot out of us, and we want it to always matter. We don't ever want to just. This shouldn't be an on the treadmill kind of band. So we're going to keep it balanced, just the right amount, that every show is an event, and every, you know, we tour or whatever is something important. But it now feels like part of our vernacular.
Yeah,
you know?
We're getting on with the second album already.
Ooh.
Yeah, we played three new songs last night.
Did you? That's true. Wow.
Yeah.
We're you know, when the juices are there, you know, I've talked about creativity a lot with you, Andrew, and it's like, see, when the fucking floodgates are open, you got to go with it. You know, you don't want to try and dam that up, because there's plenty of times where it does run dry. And actually, doing these shows, you know, preparing for these shows, I've not written music for a while, and it's made me start write fucking quiet songs, you know, because I'm screaming all day, and then I'm sitting at a piano, and it's liberated all music for me. And that's what each album you make and each song you make should make you want to go on and do something else.
Everything's a reaction against what you've already just done.
Yeah.
And I feel so grateful to be part of this with Mike, because Mike, you know, not to blow smoke in your balls, which I love to do. You know, Mike is a really incredible guitar player, and I'm very aware that when Mike plays with Biffy, you know, he's playing very within his skill set. And see, not to let Mike, you know, but for Mike to just fly free, it's honestly a privilege to be a part of it, because I cannot write music and guitar riffs the way that Mike does. And as I say, that's really exciting after 20 odd years to feel like I have a new way to write, you know, to find the right songs.
Yeah, creativity flowing. Well, speaking of creativity, where's this Marmaduke, Duke and Tippie Toes album?
I want to know about that as well.
Well, believe it or not, I did spend 2 weeks working on Tippie Toes, so we do have an album's worth of material for Tippie Toes. We just need to edit it, and also, again, I don't ever want to be flippant with music. Sometimes when I talk about it, it's like I've got these albums. I would never put out music because it's like almost ready, and I think, you know, it needs to have a purpose, and I need to feel truly special. So Tippie Toes is going to be special. Marmaduke already is special, and we'll complete that. I think I'm a bit scared. Me and John are a bit scared of completing that album, because once that's done, that's just over. The Duke is dead. But I don't want to distract from this. You know, this has now got a bit of momentum for us mentally, physically, and emotionally, and I don't want to risk upsetting that. You know, and also Biffy's always at the top of my list for kind of, you know, that's my DNA. That's who I am. But so I need to make time for my 4 wives.
It feels like there's already a cult forming around this. So.
Well, it feels like people get what we're doing, you know, like, because we're not being cynical about this. This is because of our love of this music and this fucking band, and hopefully that comes across. So I appreciate you saying that, because I think people do get it. At the shows, when no one knew the music, there was like, you know, half the people knew they were going to like it because they knew they dug extreme music. The other half were maybe not sure if they were going to like it. I'm sure there's some people that it wasn't quite up their street, but to see people commit to something before they even know what it is, it was a real show of faith and trust, and we don't take that lightly, you know. And so there's
a real air of celebration. I think that people, all too often you play a gig and people are sort of it's like, oh, fucking go on and impress me. Whereas this was like, go on and be brilliant. I know you're going to be brilliant, you know, and you could really feel that, you know.
Yeah, I know, and that's weird, because normally that could add more pressure, but actually it felt like,
it's like, you got this, boys, come on.
I know. all we want is and so we get plenty of that.
We'll come get some heavy metal flatulence this summer. Ladies and gentlemen, Empire State Bastard.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ed.